Let me first of all thank everyone for coming out today for this what I would call another historic site that's starting right here in this building. And that's my distinct pleasure to welcome the Occupy movement not only to the International Civil Rights Center Museum, where on February the 1st, 1960s, 4 young men, about the age of you all, some of you all, sat down at a lunch counter right around this corner here so that the rest of America could stand up for freedom, justice, and equality. I'd like to also bring forth my other co-founder, Earl Jones, who will also give you a extended word.
Good afternoon. We're very pleased to welcome Occupy. I call it Occupy America, because America belongs to all of us, the 99%, not just the 1%. So I do want to welcome the Occupy movement to the city of Greensboro, and more importantly, to the International Civil Rights Museum and Center. And that word international is pretty important. The international part is a movement international, whether it's in Egypt, Yemen, where people are crying out for equality and justice. Now in America, I think what the Occupy movement represents to me is that, as you know, you have income disparity, and America is slowly moving toward economic apartheid, where you have the 1% the have, and the 99% somewhat the have-nots. So we're here and we stand with you. I foresee that the movement will grow and will be a good thing for America. There will be some resistance. There will have to be sacrifice. We support a nonviolent approach to this. I want to welcome you all. We're going to bring up the people who are the center of attention today, not only here at the International Civil Rights Museum and Center, but also in America, to help to make America a better place, and help to make America fair, and provide a better quality of life and a better future for our children and grandchildren. So I bring it to you now.
Today, we the Occupy walkers and our supporters stand here at the International Civil Rights Center Museum, which was the former Greensboro Woolworths, and we unite in a spirit of humility about our nation's past and in a spirit of determination about our nation's future. We are walking activists midway through a 700-mile march from Washington, D.C. to Atlanta, Georgia. On December 1st, we set out from the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial in Washington, and our destination is Dr. King's gravesite in Atlanta, Georgia. Our march is one part of a growing people's movement called the Occupy movement. We seek the transformation of our society by exposing economic inequality and withdrawing our support from institutions of structural violence, and campaigning for the benefit of the 99% of the American people. These 99% increasingly doubt whether our government serves their interests or whether they serve a small number of a few large corporations.
We recall Greensboro in 1960. In that year, young activists united to overturn the violent institution of racial segregation. These activists began with the method of nonviolent occupation, staging a sit-in on these very lunch counter stools. On September 17, 2011, a new group of activists united in nonviolent occupations of Wall Street and financial districts throughout the nation and the world. Called the Occupy movement, we act to nonviolently overturn institutions of structural violence by which corporations dominate our society and our democracy. Like racial segregation, gross economic inequality today is an example of structural violence, turning families out of homes, withholding essential health care, cutting jobs to increase profits, saddling students and consumers with crushing debts, and destroying communities. These injustices must end.
Today we call upon our fellow activists and citizens of the nation to occupy the highways for this upcoming spring of 2012. We propose conducting 15 to 60 Selma-to-Montgomery type marches, time to arrive at Statehouses in every nation and region and state of the United States. This is planned for Sunday, March 25th. These marches are one part of a nationwide effort to keep reality of economic inequality front and center in the national dialogue during the election year of 2012. We seek to evict corporate lobbyists and corporate-funded elected officials who now occupy the people's statehouses.
The marchers will not be petitioning their elected officials. Instead, people of each state will call upon their fellow citizens via signed petition to unite to remove corporate domination of government and restore voter sovereignty. Most marches will begin at Occupy movement sites, pass through areas of economic injustice and distress, and end at statehouses. In each state, the arriving marchers will witness whether their elected officials are accountable to the voters or beholden to corporations. We call upon fellow citizens to join us in putting state legislators and elected officials on notice. We demand to know who they serve.
This is the full document outlining plans for these mass spring marches. It shall be signed by anybody here today who wishes to sign it and read it, and it shall forever remain here at the International Civil Rights Museum in Greensboro, North Carolina. We'd like to thank the founders and thank all of you for being here. And with that, we conclude our press conference.
We would like to invite you to have not already done it, all of the Occupy marchers to take a tour of the Civil Rights Center and Museum. But that would be as our contribution to the march, and hopefully you'll be able to be rejuvenated when you go through and see what the poor young men here had to go through and see their story. That would encourage you to even be more vigilant in what you're trying to do, because it didn't take one day, it didn't take 2 weeks. It took months in order for freedom, justice, and equality to be brought about in this place here. So it's not going to happen overnight. And freedom and justice never does. So I congratulate you all and commend you all for taking on this effort. And hopefully the rest of the world will be able to congratulate you once we bring about freedom, justice, and equality for all of us.
Make no doubt that the African American community throughout this nation support the principles and goals of this movement, which is centered around ending economic disparity. Make no doubt about that. And when they first had the first Occupy in New York, I noted that there were blacks that participated. Every location there have been blacks that participated. In high numbers, no. But African Americans have the highest unemployment, foreclosures impact on us more than anyone else. There are health disparities, income disparities are more vast among African Americans, and this movement is about changing that. So make no doubt, if you had a doubt before then, we're at the International Civil Rights Museum and Center. It just left A&T State University, a historically black college and university. Make no doubt that we do support this movement.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to the lunch counter and then do it too. Okay, let's do that.
Smile, baby. We're changing the world. Can we order a cherry pie?
You won't be able to get it in 15
You can
minutes.
have a band. Okay, that's the only one. I want to try.
And for the record, we usually don't allow anybody to touch this counter, but we're doing it for you